Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my day 3 Angular tutorial. So let me inform you guys, before uploading this video I already uploaded 2 more videos on Angular. Please go through those videos before coming to this video. In this video, in today's concept, we will cover the routing in Angular. So routing in Angular is one of the important concept because without routing we are not able to navigate from one page to another page. So if you want to navigate from one page to another page, we need the routing concept in Angular. We'll cover different type of routing like without parameter and with parameter routing. Even we'll cover how to fetch the data from the service, how to create a service, how we can bind the data from the service into our HTML page. So all those kind of concept we'll cover. So in my day 2 tutorial, I have created this navigation bar using Angular material. So I have created three links. I have added 3 links in the navigation bar: home, product, order, along with the login link also. I made some few changes in the application, like I have integrated the routing concept in this application. So if you see, if I am in home page, if I click on the home, I am in home page. Just have a look on the URL. The URL ends with /home, means we are in home page. If I click on the product, we are in product page /product. Just keep an eye on the URL. So in the product list page, I am displaying a list of products having ID, name and price. It's an array of objects. We have displayed it using HTML5 table, and we binded to this table using *ng4. So all those kind of binding I have covered already in my day 2 Angular concept. So please go through that video to learn how to bind an array of object to a table using *ng4 directive. Now if I will click on a particular product, I will get the details about the product. So I will be navigated to the details page. Just keep an eye on the URL. So let me click pen drive. So we are now navigated to the product detail page. So if you see, one ID is being added, this number /2 is the ID of pen drive. So let me go back to my product list page by click of this back button. So if you see, pen drive is having an ID of 2 and price of 750. If I will click on power bank, in the URL we'll get /3. This the ID will be appended in the URL, and in the detail page we'll get details about this product. So let me click. So see, /3 get appended in the URL. It is the ID of the power bank, and we will get the details about that product. So in this page, on the basis of the ID, we are retrieving this ID from the URL, and in this page we are filtering the array of object on the basis of this ID, and whatever the product we are getting, we are displaying this product in the product detail page. That's it. So we'll see how we can configure routing concept. Let me go to this. So if you remember, in my day 1 tutorial, while creating an Angular project, you have to use npm command, Angular CLI command, that is ng new then project name. If you remember, if when we press the enter, then it will ask for whether we need routing in our application or not, and we have selected Y because we need routing in our application. As we have selected routing in our application, that's why we are getting app routing module.ts file. This is the main modules in which we will configure all the paths related to the routing. If you open this page, open this module. So this is a module because it is a class having decorator of @ng module. So when you have created the project, you will get if you open this file, the code will look like this without these codes. So this is, so if let me remove this code. So if you open your file, the application it will look like this. Only this much code is being written by Angular CLI while creating our project. So here we will configure our routing. Let me undo my code. For configuring the routing, in this constant which is of type routes, route is being imported from the @angular/router package. So all these kind of things is being taken care by Angular CLI. That is the cool feature of using Angular CLI. So only we have to configure this path in this array. Okay, this is our main concern. So first path will come to this later. Let's count on the second path. So the syntax for this is we have to define an object. I mean the curly braces. This is an object having property having one key as path, and we can give any path of your name xyz abc. So I have given home. Then component will be the property of that object. Then we have to bind here corresponding component in which we want to bind this path. I want to bind my home path to the home component. Okay, if you write here xyz, you can bind to xyz component or whatever component. So it means when this path will be activated, this component will be rendered. Okay, I mean if I will go to the home page, my home path is activated. So that's why my home component is being rendered. Clear? So likewise, if my product path is activated, product component will be rendered. If order path is activated, an order component will be rendered. If login path will be activated, login component will be rendered. And this path will come to that later. Okay. So in this way we can configure our path and its corresponding component. So in this also we need to configure an empty path. So if you see, this is the empty path. It is saying when our URL is empty or when we will first load our page, when the user will first log in or first load the page, then we need to redirect to home page. Okay, on first load of our application we want to display the home component to the user. Or when the path is empty, what does that mean? Like let's suppose I am the user. I will for the first time or for the first time for today I want to access that application. How you can access? I will type the URL. So this is, so once it load, if you see, it will automatically landed over to the home page or home component, or we can say home path. Why it is landed over to the home path on page load? Because we have not clicked on the home, but it is navigating us to the home path, because we have configured here when we load the page or when the path is empty, by default the path home will be activated, then it will reach here, then home component will be rendered. Okay, so same thing also happen if I will remove this everything and I will keep localhost 4200. This means now my path is empty. If I will press enter, again will be landed to the home component. So in this way, this is a necessary things, like we have to configure the empty path so that when the user load the application for the first time, user should be able to see some dummy page. Okay, at least the home page. Then comes the last part, this one. So this is activated when we will give any anonymous name, anonymous path. Anonymous path means any path which is not configured in here. So what are the paths which is being configured? So there are path, home, product, order, product list, and login. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 paths are being configured. If we give any other path other than this 5 path, then that is called anonymous path. So in that case, it will be redirected to the login path. So login path means it will come here. Then this login component will be activated. Okay, for example, I will give, instead of home, I will give any anonymous name. Let's suppose xyz. So xyz is not configured. If I will press enter, we will be landed to the login page. Okay, this is login works, it is written. So we are landed over to the login page because we have configured the anonymous path there. Okay, so in this way we can configure the path for anonymous. We can configure the routing for the anonymous path or for the wrong path. If user by mistake enter the wrong URL, then user will be landed over to the login page. Or what we can do, we can create one more component called page not found component, and when the path is anonymous, then we can redirect to page not found component also. That way also we can do. Okay, you can try with that. So in this way we have to declare the path in the app routing module.ts file. Then after configuring the routing path, the next step is we have to go to the component, go to that HTML file in which we have declared the navigation bar, I mean the math toolbar. So we have declared the navigation bar. Math toolbar is the Angular material component we already covered in my day 2 tutorial. So this is the navigation bar. Okay, so wherever we have navigation bar, we will go to that component. Okay, we'll go to that component. Then we have to write this line below the math toolbar, below the navigation bar, router outlet. So what is the use of this? This is the container for containing the page content, the navigated page content. I mean, if I will click on the home, I am in home component, but this content will be rendered within this router outlet if I will click the home link in the navigation bar. If I click the product link, then this tabular content will be rendered within this router outlet. So like somewhat like this, okay, within this router outlet. So it's just like a container which is getting updated with the dynamic content on the basis of the page where we want to navigate. So here you can able to understand, say Angular application is mainly used for creating a single page application, because we have a navigation bar, and on the basis of the click on the navigation bar, only the content of that page will be updated dynamically within the router outlet. This navigation bar will not be updated, only the content within the router outlet is updated. It means we are able to see only one page, and the content of that page will be updated dynamically on the basis of user click event, on the basis of link selected or link activated. Okay, so router outlet is a container. Then what next? So after this, the third step will be for routing. The third step will be so up to this we have declared the path of routing. Here in app routing module, we declare we have written the container for routing. Then the third step will be we need to we need to trigger this path. There should be some means, there should be some way so that the user can able to trigger this configured path. How we can do that? In the navigation bar, if you see in the navigation bar, we have anchor tag, we have home anchor tag, product anchor tag, order anchor tag, and this anchor tag I have created in my day 2 tutorial. So only changes what I have made is with this anchor tag I have binded the router link property, so it will be binded within the square bracket equal to, then it is a home anchor tag, so that's why we have configured the home path, and this home path corresponding to the path we have declared in app routing module. If here we declared XYZ path instead of home, then here we have to declare that XYZ path. Okay, similarly for the product, we declare the path as products. For order, we declare the path as order, because these paths are being configured in app routing module. So products, then it is order. Okay, likewise we have a login. So for login we'll come to that later. So what I want to tell is, like, in the anchor tag we need to bind one router link attribute, and we need to initialize that attribute with the path, corresponding path, whichever we want to navigate on click of that anchor tag. For the on click of home anchor tag, I want to navigate to my home path, home component. On click of product anchor tag, I want to navigate to my product component. On click of order anchor tag, I want to navigate to my order component. Okay. So next attribute, next property will be router link active property. So for this we have given the value as active. This active is actually the class which is being written in corresponding CSS. So we have written the mat toolbar in app component.html, so its corresponding CSS will be app component.css. So if you open here, so it is a class. Dot active is a class in which we have written the CSS property as background color is green. So it means whichever anchor tag or whichever navigation link is active, then that activated link will be highlighted in background color as green. Okay, so it means now I am in product page, so my product anchor tag is highlighted in green color. If I will in order page, my order anchor tag will be highlighted in green color. If I will be in home page, my home anchor tag will be highlighted in green color, because it is in now active state. So in this way we can distinguish which one link is active or which one is not active by using router link active property. So this will help the user to know, like, means it will give a visual feedback to the user, so that the user will able to know whether he is in home page or product page or order page by using this router link active concept. Okay, up to this I guess everything is clear. So next we learn how we can navigate to another page on click of user event. So we have a login button. So this is a login icon which is being included in the button. In the button we have a click event. In this way we can attach an event in Angular. So it's a button, we have attached the click event. For attaching the event we have to use the bracket. Within that we have to write the corresponding event. So it's a button, it's a click event. If it's a select drop down, we will use change event. If it is input field, then we can use key down event. So on the basis of your choice. So it's a button, so in button usually we click, that's why I have attached a click event to this button. On click of these buttons, I want to handle that click event in this function. This is the login function. Okay, so this login function will handle our click event. So let me go to the login function. So where we can find this login function? So it's a function, means we will write some business logic, so we will find it in corresponding TS file. It is being written in app component.html file, so this corresponding TS file is app component.ts file. Okay, we'll open that. If you find, this is the login function. Here we have written only just one line of code to navigate to the login page. Okay, so this one line of code, let me explain. First of all, we need to create an object which is of type router. We need to declare a variable of type router. So this is like, this way we can create an object router of type router class. So this type of creation is called dependency injection. Okay, so this router is a class which is being available within the @Angular router package. We need to import this line. Okay, so once we have imported, then so this is a router, is the variable which is of type router, and this way of creating the object is called dependency injection. Because if you see in our, if you guys knows the Java technology or .NET technology, there if you want to create an object, what we have to write, any variable equal to new, then class name. So here instead of using the new keyword, we have to write within the constructor. We just have to specify the modifier as private, then any variable name of your choice, colon, then the class name. So it means it will create an object router of class router class. Okay, so this is called dependency injection because Angular framework will inject the router object for us to utilize, so we don't have to use the new keyword, and by this way they will be like loosely coupled. This object will be loosely coupled and we don't have to take care of this object. It will be created by Angular during our compilation or during our building of our application. Okay, so this way of initializing, this way of creating an object is called dependency injection in Angular. Okay, then once we have created the router object, so everything whatever we declared as class property, so if you see title is a class property, display column is a class property, even router is also a class property. So every class property will be accessed by using this keyword, this dot router. So don't worry about this code. Okay, I already commented this code, so it is of no use. So where we are, so whatever the class variable or whatever the variable we declared within the constructor, all those variable will be accessed by using this keyword, this dot variable name. Then this router object has a function called navigate. This is being provided by Angular, and navigate will take a parameter. The parameter will be the path of the component in which we want to navigate. I want to navigate to login component, so that's why I have mentioned the login path. So what it will do, once the controller execute this line, it will see the path is login, it will go to the app routing module, it will go through this configuration, it will search for the path login, starting from here, not found, not found, not found, not found, not found. Here it will it will find the login path. Then login component will be activated, and whatever being written within the login component, that will be rendered. Okay, so in this way we can also do navigate, also we can navigate from one page to another page through this code. So there are two ways of navigating from one page to another page. Another one way is by using the anchor tag with router link attribute or router link property, and second one is through the TS file by using the router object and navigate property of router object. Okay, so in this way, so up to this we have covered some basic concept on routing. So next is we will cover like how we can configure a parameter routing. Okay, so before parameter routing, let me explain how we can create a service. Okay, so also I missed so again we will come to the service later, so I missed one more point. So how, first of all, we should learn how to create an component. To create a component we have to use this command, ng component, then any component of your name. So in this, so this is my Node.js command prompt. The server is already running, so if you want to create a component, then we need to stop the server. For stopping the server, just press Ctrl C simultaneously. It will ask whether you want to terminate or not. Just press Y, it will terminate the server. So here to create a new component, we have to use ng, G for generate, C for component, and any name of your choice. Let me give one component name, checkout. On press of enter, what it will do, we'll see. So on place means once we write this command, just press enter, it will execute that command, it will create a new component called checkout component. So it will take a couple of minutes to create the checkout component, just have patience. So this is the command by C. Our component is created. If you see, it created checkout component.html, checkout component.spec file, ts file, then css file, and the last line is important. It not only created the component but also it updated the app module.ts file. As I explained in my day 1 tutorial, whatever we will create a component, we need to declare in the respective module. So in our application we have app.module.ts file as the main module. So whatever we will declare, create a new component, we need to declare that component in app module.ts file. Okay. So we will see one. So we have created a component name as checkout component. Let me go to the code base. If you see, let me scroll off. So if you see, there is one folder of name checkout is created, and if you if you expand the folder, you will find the component. Checkout component is created. We have HTML file, CSS file, spec file, and TS file. Okay, so after you execute that command, it will create a folder of same name as the component name, and it will create the respective component files. Okay, it will create 4 files within that folder, and not only it will create the component, it also update the app module.ts file. If you see in the declaration array of app module, we have means it already have declared the checkout component, the component that it has created. So I mean, if you go to the checkout component again, checkout component.ts file, let me open it. So checkout component.ts file have a class name as checkout component. Same class name is being declared here, and even it is automatically imported. This declaration and import statement is done by Angular CLI automatically. You don't have to take care. This is the cool feature of using Angular CLI. So just for knowledge, or if you get any error while building your application, just check whatever the component you have used, whether you have declared in the declaration array or not. Okay. So in this way we can create a component. So now we'll learn how we can create a service. For creating a service, we have to use the command ng, g for generate again, s for service. And this is I want to create my service within the service folder, and the service name is product. So if you execute this command, so copy this command, paste in the command prompt, and press enter. So I already created the service file, so I don't want to create it again. So once you press enter, it will create a service folder. Okay, why it create a service folder? Because we have mentioned service here, that's why. This is the folder name, and product is the service name. Okay, it will create the product service within the folder service folder. So we have 2 files created within the service folder, product service.ts and spec.ts. So for our purposes, we will concentrate on product service.ts because spec.ts is used for testing purposes. Okay, so let me close the unnecessary files. Okay, so let me open the product service.ts file. So once you create this file, the code will look like this. Let me remove this code that I have included. Okay, once you execute this command nggs service product, you will get a file named as product service.ts file. The code will look like this, only this much code, and this class is a service because it has a decorator called injectable, which is imported from Angular/core. All this code is being written by the Angular CLI. You don't have to write all this code. So let me undo my code again. So in this service I have created a function. So let me tell you why service is needed. So if you want to reuse your code, if you want to write a business logic that is being used in multiple components. So let's suppose in our application currently we have multiple components. Like I have product component, checkout component, product lead, product detail component. So there are multiple components. If I want to use the same logic in all the components, so it will be better to use a service. So instead of repeating the same logic in all the component, we'll write the logic in one file which is called service file, and we can call the function of that service file in the component wherever we need that business logic. Okay, so same thing I have done. I have declared a function get product in which I have created a variable product of type product. This product is the interface that I have created. So I already explained how to create an interface in my day 2 tutorial. I have created the interface within the model folder. Okay, let me open my interface. So this is my interface having these three properties. Okay, these three properties corresponding to the property of my object: product ID, name, and price. Okay, product ID, name, and price. So I have declared a product of type product, which is an array. So this is an interface. Then I initialize with some three object. So now product is an array of object. I have returned that array of object from the service. Why I have created this function? Because I need this product data in my product detail component as well as product component. We'll see. So we need the same logic in multiple component in product detail as well as in product. So instead of initializing the same array of object in each component, we will write in a service and we will call this function in product detail as well as product component, because these two components needed this array of object. Okay, so please keep it remember, this function is returning an array of object. Okay, so let me go to my product component first. Open HTML, I'll open TS file. Okay, so in the UI if we'll go, this is my product component. Okay, it's a tabular structure in which the data is being displayed in a tabular structure. Okay, list of product. So if you see what I have done in my product component.ts file, first of all, in order to call this function within the service, we have to create an object of this service. So how we can create an object of this service? We can create by using dependency injection. So in the constructor, we have declared a variable. You can declare of any name of your choice, which is of type product service. This is the class name of our service. Okay, this is the class name. Then once we declare, we have to import that above also. How we can import that? Let me remove the import statement. Once we initialize, once we create a variable of type product service, we will get an compilation error because it is not imported yet. So how we can rectify this compilation error? Just click on this name. You will get a bulb icon. Click on that and click on the import statement. It will be imported. Error is gone. So now we have created a product service object of type product service. Okay. So in the ng-on-init, so ng-on-init is a lifecycle method in Angular. It's a lifecycle method for all the component. So each component have its own ng-on-init method. As the name suggests, in this component, in this lifecycle method, we usually initialize the class variables. So we have a one class variable product, and we initialize the product class variable within the ng-on-init function. For initializing, what we have to do, this dot product service that we have created here dot, we will call the function get product, which is being written in the product service. So to get access to this function which is being written in the product service, we need to create an object of that product service by using dependency injection concept. Okay, so now this will return the array of object. That array of object will be assigned to this variable, this product. Now this product is now initialized with a array of object, array of product. So it's contain array of product. That's why I have written the type of this variable as array of product. This is the product interface and as such a array, so we have given the array symbol. So now this product contains array of product. Now we need to iterate through this array and we need to display in a tabular format. So how we need to iterate, I already covered in my day 2 tutorial by using star-ng for directive. We'll again look into that. In the HTML file, in the corresponding HTML file, so I have a table, HTML element, HTML tag, in which I have defined the header of the table. Then here it is the row of the table, and for the row I have used star-ng for directive. Product is the variable that I have declared in product component.ts file, which contains an array of object. I am iterating through this array of object, so it will give one object on each iteration. So each object will be assigned to here. Then we can access the property of object by object.property name. So if you see, each object has three property. One is product ID, another is name, third one is price. So in HTML we will access those property by product ID, product name and product price. Okay. Now the next thing is, this means in this way we displayed the product in a tabular structure. Okay, up to this I guess everything is clear. Next we will move to some advanced concept on routing, like how we can configure parameterized routing. Parameterized routing means, now I am in product page in which the list of product is displayed in a tabular structure. Now I want, on click of the product, I want to navigate to the product detail page, in which we will get the product name whichever user has clicked, along with its price, along with a back button. Okay, so how we can achieve this? So if you see in the URL, the ID of that product get appended. So ID for pen drive is 2, so that's why 2 is get appended. So it means we are appending a parameter in the URL. That's why it is called parameterized routing. So this is the product detail page screen. So in the product details page screen, we need to read this ID from the URL. Then we need to iterate through the array of product, and we need to filter out the product object which is having ID 2. Once we filter out the product object, we need to display that product object in this page, in the product detail page. That's it. So first of all, we'll learn how we can configure this product detail path in the routing module, because product detail is a parameterized routing. For product detail path navigation, we need to configure parameterized routing. In app routing module, we'll go again. The main area of concentration is this, because here only we'll initialize the path. So here we have initialized this path. Please concentrate on this path. So I have initialized same as path is the key. Then I have given product names, so you can give XYZ name. Also, like I usually preferred, so we are navigating to this product detail page from the product component. In the product component we have given product path. So the best way of writing the path is from which page you are navigating, that path you will mention here. Then you have to give a slash, then colon, then any name of your choice. This colon ID is called the placeholder. That will contain the parameter, means the ID that you are seeing in the URL, this ID 2, 3 or 1 on the basis of whatever product we clicked, that value will be stored in this placeholder ID. And this is the syntax in which this is the syntax of configuring the parameterized routing, colon, then a placeholder name. Okay, then we will configure the respective component for this path. For this path we want to trigger the product detail component. That's it. Its work is done. App routing module work is done. Next is we need to provides some interface for the user to trigger this path. So how user can trigger this path? There should be some click event. So we'll go to the product component.html page again, where we have declared, where we have displayed the product array of product in a tabular structure. If you see, we have included an anchor tag within one of the TD element, one of the row. So what we are doing, we are displaying the product name within an anchor tag. In anchor tag we have used the router link because now the requirement is on click of product name I want to route to my product detail page, along with we need to pass the ID of that product. So that's why for navigating we need to attach router link attribute to the anchor tag. Then we have to mention the path I want to see. The path that I have configured is for the parameter routing is product, then slash, then the parameter. So we need to configure the same path. So path should be start from the slash, then product, then comma. This is the ID parameter. So this contains the ID of the respective product. Okay, it contains 1, 2, 3, ID, 4, 5 on the basis of the respective product, and this ID will be stored in this placeholder ID. Okay, once that route is activated, then this way we can activate this route. So what is happening is, like when user click on this anchor tag, then this path is activated. Path means how the path will be, how it is, the path should be like this: localhost. So we are running from our localhost, so it's the localhost 4200, whatever the port you have, then slash, then this product, then this product path slash product, then slash this ID, product ID. So whatever it might be, on basis of the product, let it be, it is 3. So path should be this. So once Angular controller get this path, it will directly jump to the app routing module. It will keep on searching for that path. The search first path, it is not matching, second not matching, third not matching, fourth not, fifth is match. We have product, then slash, then one parameter. So what it will do, this ID of 3 will be stored in the, will be assigned to the placeholder ID, colon ID. Okay. So now I have triggered, and now I have navigated to the product detail page. The next step will be how we can read this ID in product detail page, because after reading that ID, then only we can filter the product corresponding to this ID. So reading of this ID is necessary. So we need to read this ID in product detail page, because we are displaying the product, means we are displaying the selected product in product detail page. So we'll open the product detail page.ts file. Okay, this is the product detail component.ts file. So in this file, what I have done to read, now we'll concentrate on how we can read this ID from the URL in product detail page. For reading this ID from the URL, you have to create an object activated route, which is of type activated route. This activated route is a class which is being imported from the @angular/router package. Okay, and this router class, for navigating from one page to another page, it is needed. And even I have injected the product service, because I already has explained we want the function of that product service in product detail page also, because for filtering purposes. Now after we initialize the activated route, then what we have to do, we have to write this syntax, this code in ng only. What is this? So we have created a object of type activator route. We need to access that object by using this keyword, this dot underscore activator route dot param map. This is the property, this is the function provided by Angular. So this activator route dot param map will return an observable. Let me tell you what do you mean by observable. Observable is a set of data and we can access that data by subscribe method. Unless and until you subscribe an observable, you won't get access to that data. So observable can contain array of object, a single object, or any primitive data like string, number, boolean, date. So for us, the observable contain the ID of the product. So we can get the ID by subscribing. We need to subscribe to that observable. Once we subscribe, we'll get the ID in params variable. Then we can extract that ID by using params.get ID. Why we have named ID here? Because this is the name of the placeholder that we have configured in our app routing module.page. If you have configured xyz name here colon xyz, then here also you have to mention xyz. So this should be matched with the placeholder name. Param.getID will give the ID, but that ID will be in string by default. Always whatever you will read from the URL, it will be in string, but we need ID in integer. That's why you convert the string to integer by using parseInt. Then this is being assigned to the ID class variable. We already declared the ID class variable, which is of type number. Then now we got the ID of the selected product. Next step is we need to iterate the array of object and extract the product corresponding to that ID. So first of all, for iterating the array of object, we need that array of object. How we can get the array of object? By using the service function. That's why we have injected the service in the constructor. So we'll access that service object underscore product service by using this dot underscore product service dot get product. If you remember, this will return the array of product that will be assigned to my local variable product. Then I am iterating through the array. This is the JavaScript function for iterating through the array, and here it's like a if statement. Whichever product having product ID match with the ID that we have extracted from the URL, that product will be assigned to this dot product. Okay, so once we get the corresponding product, we need to display the details of that product in the HTML page. So we'll go to the product detail.html page. The HTML page, we got the product and we display the detail of that product by using product.name, product.price within the double curly braces. I already taught you like this double curly braces is called interpolation and it is called one-way binding. So in this way we have display the details of the product. Next thing is I have used a back button. If you see in from the UI, I have a back button. On click of back button, I will be navigated back to the product list page. Okay, so how we can achieve that? For that I have used an anchor tag of class btn, any class of your name you can give. Then this, so actually I converted this anchor tag into a button by using CSS. Okay, you know very well how to convert an anchor tag into a button. Okay, so let me show that code also. This is the CSS I have written for converting the anchor tag into button. Okay, let me close it. So then we have a click event because anchor tag is basically used for click, so that's why I have attached a click event. Then I have attached a function. Why I have done all these things? Because now on click of anchor tag I want to navigate to my product list page. So I have attached a click event. Instead of click event also we can do by using the router link attribute. But as we have converted anchor tag into a button, so that's why I have attached a click event to the anchor tag with a function, any custom function of your choice, any name you can give to this function. We'll find this function in the corresponding TS file, the product detail component.ts file. On back, this is the line that we have written. You already aware of this line, and we provided the path, product path, because I want to navigate to my product list component. Okay, I want to navigate to my product component. That's why. This is the code that we have to do. So one important thing is, like here in ng-on-init, you have to subscribe to the observable to read the ID from the URL. So whatever you will subscribe, you need to assign it to another variable. So this variable will contain the observable that we subscribe. So this variable sub is of type subscription. So what is the importance of initializing to this dot sub is because the best way of the good practice of Angular coding is whatever observable we will subscribe, we need to unsubscribe it once this component is destroyed. So for this we need to assign the subscription to one variable of type subscription. So and in ng-on-destroy, ng-on-destroy is one of the function of Angular component, one of the life cycle function of Angular component. Each component have ng-on-destroy life cycle function. In that function we have to write this dot sub unsubscribe. For this we need to implement the ng-on-destroy also. So you have to implement on-destroy life cycle interface. Okay, this is the interface that we have implemented. Likewise, we also have to implement on-init interface. This on-init interface has the function ng-on-init. On-destroy interface has the function ng-on-destroy. And we will cover this in deep in our later video. These are the lifecycle function. Just for knowledge, just for time's sake, just remember we have a on-destroy function, lifecycle function, which will be called. We have a ng-on-destroy function which is being called when our Angular component is destroyed. Okay, and this on-init and on-destroy are being imported from Angular @angular/core. Let me tell you what do mean by when component is destroyed or when this code is executed. So let's suppose I am in product detail component. Okay, so this is being written in product detail component, this ng-on-destroy. Now I am in product detail component. On click of back button, I will be navigated to the product list component. So now as I am navigated from product detail to product list, so our product detail component is getting destroyed. So as it is destroyed, then this line will be executed and this will unsubscribe the observable. And this is a best practice. We need to unsubscribe all the subscription for better performance of our application. So I guess up to this everything is clear. In this video we have covered routing concept, parameter routing, some basic concept on service, then how we can read the parameter from the URL. Then we also have seen how we can access the data from the service and how we can display the data obtained from the service in a tabular structure by using *ng4 directive. And the important things to keep in mind is whatever you subscribe to an observable, wherever you will subscribe, we need to unsubscribe to that observable on ng-on-destroy method. And ng-on-destroy is a lifecycle method of component. Each component have this lifecycle method which is being called when our component is destroyed. And the component is destroyed when we will navigate it from that component to another component. Okay, so thank you guys for watching my videos, and please subscribe, like and comment on my video. I will provide a description to my already uploaded 2 new videos. Like I will provide a description for the videos on Angular concept that I have uploaded already. You will find the link to those videos in the description section. Even you will find the link to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my channel and you will be notified whenever I will upload a new video. Please be tuned with me, and whatever I have taught today, please practice thoroughly and try to create the same application that I have created. If you have any doubt, please ask me in the description section. Thank you guys for watching. Stay home, stay safe. Good night.